Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing today? What's going on? It is October 26th, 2023. It is 9 in the morning, 9:02 to be exact. In this class, we're going to talk about how to use the Vocab Mountain. I think a lot of us are using it correctly, but I think also a lot of us are using it incorrectly. So that's what we're going to be doing in this class. It's probably not going to take an hour. I don't think so. So yeah, let's just dive into it. So let's move to the Vocab Mountain. All right, can everybody see my screen here, the Vocab Mountain? Great. So let's go through the functionality of the Vocab Mountain first of all. So we have this slider, which we can use to determine what day we're on. So of course, day 4, groups 1 through 4. We can go all the way up to day 16, and then if you scroll down, you can see that day 16 is right there, or group 16 is down there at the bottom. And of course, the final group is day 32. So that's like the culmination of the Vocab Mountain. That's the very end of it. Scroll all the way down, and then where we see group 32 is right there. Okay, so that is the overall kind of setup of the Vocab Mountain. For those of you who don't know how it works, let's do a quick refresher of how the Vocab Mountain works. So on day number 1, you're going to go through the group 1 words. On day number 2, you're not going to go through only the group 2 words. You're going to go through groups 1 and 2. For day number 3, you're going to go through 1, 2, 3. And then for day number 12, you're going to go 1 through 12. So it builds on itself. So by the time you get to day, for example, day 32, you would have seen the group 1 words 32 days in a row. 32 days in a row. Now, what exactly do I mean by go through them? Good question, Rashida. That's exactly what this class is all about. So I'm going to show you how to use this, what I mean by go through it. Some other functionality that you get, let's imagine that we're on day number 12, everybody. So sometimes you can memorize words almost by the order that they're in. Notice they're in alphabetical order. So we have a couple of features to kind of sidestep that. So the first thing you can do is you can shuffle within the groups. Shuffle within the groups, so it just kind of randomizes them within each group. The next thing you can do is you can shuffle all 12 groups. So it just creates 12 random groups, as you can see. So this is a really good way to test your knowledge of everything you've done up to that point and making sure you're not forgetting anything up to that point. So that's basically the functionality of the Vocab Mountain. You can navigate it with the arrow keys like this. And then when you get to the bottom here, watch what happens. Oh, magic. Pretty cool, right? Magic. Oh, it's so cool right there. If you know a word, you hit G. And what that does is it marks it green. So G for green, like that. If you don't know the word, you hit R. R for red. If you make a mistake, you can just hit G, and that turns it green, or R back to R. Or if you just want to make the cell white, you just hit W, like this. The cool thing is this data is stored. So let me show you what I mean by that. This is actually a pretty cool tool. I think we outdid ourselves with this one. I'm pretty impressed with this, to be honest. All right, so let's say we're on day 1, for example. And then we do G, 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 etc. all the way down. Notice if we go to day 2, it's not marking those words as G, as green, because you're supposed to go through them again. That's the entire purpose of the Vocab Mountain. You have to go through every group up to that day again. So that's why you're not seeing them marked as green. If you want to reset everything, so reset all the colors across every single group, you click this and then click it again just to make sure, and that's going to reset everything like that. So that's the functionality of the Voc. Oh, and we forgot, if you hit D for definition, how did we forget that? So if you click on D for definition, it pops up the part of speech, which is the verb. It gives the definition, it gives a sentence, and it gives 3 synonyms. And you can write notes here if you want, like I hate this word, or this word is stupid, or don't forget this word, whatever. So that's the functionality of the Vocab Mountain. Before I give you my recommendations about how to go through it, do we have any questions about the Vocab Mountain? How often is the list updated? So the list is never updated because these 32 groups are like established. So what that means is they're fixed. So these 32 groups were created over years, and yeah, so it's not updated unless we find a mistake in a definition or something like that. Then of course we update it. All right, next question. When you get to group 32, the days after studying verbal, should I see all 960 every day? Good question, Luis. You don't necessarily have to go through all 32 groups every day, but I would say maybe 1 through 16 the first day, 17 through 32 the next day, and then repeat like that, just to make sure you have refreshers. Let's go to Kartikeya. Hey, Kartikeya, what's up?
Hi, Greg.
Hey,
I'm good. How are you?
pretty good. What was your last meal?
I just had my meal. I took dal chawal.
What'd you have?
Dal chawal. It's like rice with curry, kind of
Nice.
curry. Pulses. Yeah.
Cool. Was it good?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, what's your question?
Right. I actually wanted to ask that I'm preparing for TOEFL, but I don't see any Vocab Mountain for it. So,
Really?
uh,
Are you sure? Vocab Mountain
it's
TOEFL?
not in this format. It's Excel sheet.
Really? Here it is, right
Oh,
here. Pretty cool,
okay.
right?
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah, we have a TOEFL Vocab Mountain as well. And of course, all of the functionality is the same. You know, like you can click on D. We don't have synonyms because, TOEFL is not as important for synonyms, but it tells you a
Right.
sentence and the definition and stuff like that. Hmm.
Sure. Thanks
Yeah,
for this. I actually missed this.
no worries.
Um,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Hey, Kartikeya, did you have another question?
yeah, and when will you have that ask like coffee question you can ask any question kind of session
Well,
next
Vince is
time,
off. So Vince would be typically having it right now. So the next one will probably be Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Yeah,
Cool.
which is maybe I think
Uh,
Monday evening your time.
yeah, because I actually wanted to ask you about TOEFL, but uh, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
wait for the next
maybe
session.
later. Yeah, maybe later.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yep. Let's go to Pawnee. Hey, Pawnee, what's up?
Hi, Greg. I am following your plan and I have exam on Monday. So, I'm almost like, I don't know if I'm thorough with all the 32 groups, but do I bother looking at 33 to 38?
No, so those maybe if your knowledge. So for those of you who are confused, what she's even talking about, if you go to the actual Google spreadsheet, I added groups for 33 through 38. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with those. I would only advise you to look at those, Pawnee, if your mastery of these 32 groups is really good. Because it doesn't make sense to add more words if you haven't mastered the 32 groups. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Also, Greg, one thing that I have doubt, I mean, if you are answering quant doubt, just a
No,
doubt
this
that,
is only Vocab Mountain class, yeah.
all right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nice
Thank you,
try.
Greg.
You tried to sneak it in there. Nice try. Didn't work. Boom. No, I'm kidding. Let's go to Jay. Hey, Jay, what's up?
Hey Greg, am I audible to you?
You're audible.
Yeah. So I had a doubt regarding the way we practice Vocab Mountain.
Yeah,
So
we'll talk about
let's
that.
just
I'm sure I'll answer your doubt. Yeah. So after I take these
so
kind of more general questions, I'll show you the best way to practice it.
okay, no, actually I have been practicing it around. My question was, so we have the take the test option, right? But I find them quite easier. But when I actually attempt you the difficult part, there are a lot of synonyms, so I just get crammed up.
I'll talk about that. I'll
I
talk
don't
about that.
think
Yeah.
okay, thank
Mhm.
you.
Yep. All right, let's take one more question. Actually, I'll look at the chat box. Do we have any questions in the chat box? Are these words enough? I hear this question a lot. Are these words sufficient? Are these words enough? And I say, maybe yes, maybe no. Have you studied all 32 groups? And they say, indeed I have. Indeed I have. And then what I do is I go, great. Let's run a drill. So I go to day 32 and then I click on shuffle everything. And I say, tell me the meaning of everything in random group 3. Most of the time, I find that people do rather poorly with this. So maybe 960 words is not enough. I think it is, but maybe it isn't. But before we should even ask that question, shouldn't we prove our knowledge of the 960 words to begin with? So the only way in which that question makes sense is if you have actually mastered the 960 words. So make sure you have actually mastered them before you start thinking about adding additional words, right? All right. Any other questions? Let's see. How many groups to learn? 32 are in there. Adrian says, do you combine these with the flashcards? Yeah. So with the Vocab Mountain, I'm not really interested in how you learn the words. Let me show you what I mean here. So like, let's imagine you're on day 4. I don't really care so much how you learn the group 4 words, whether that be flashcards, writing it down in a journal, whatever your style is. I'm much more interested in the revision of groups 1 through 3. So learn the words however way you want, whether that be flashcards or whatever it is, mnemonics, but be able to revise the previously learned groups, or be able to always talk about group 1, group 2, all the way up to whatever group you're on. Okay, let's take one more question. Let's go to Kazi. Hey, Kazi, what's up? I think you're muted, Kazi.
Hello,
Hey,
how are you?
good. Yourself?
I'm good. Actually, my exam is on Tuesday. I took a shorter mock test on ETS yesterday and I got 154 on verbal section. I just wanted to know that if there is a difference between the real test and the mock test, how much the difficulty level varies.
Well, your question's not really about the Vocab Mountain, but I can
No.
answer it a little bit. So if you're getting like a 153 or a 154 in verbal, that's pretty good evidence that your vocab knowledge is kind of weak, because the new shorter version of the test, is it vocab heavy or not vocab heavy? What do you think? It's vocab heavy. It is extremely vocab heavy. 7 of the questions are sentence equivalents, 7 out of 27. That's a bigger chunk than previously. It used to be 8 out of 40. Now it's 7 out of 27. So they reduced the number of questions by 13, but they only reduced the number of sentence equivalence questions by 1. So in a sense, vocab has become even more important, which is kind of interesting, because one complaint of the GRE test is that it tests a lot of vocab knowledge, which isn't really reasoning or logic. And it seems like ETS doubled down on it and decided to test vocab even more, which is a little bit interesting. So if you find yourself getting a 153, 154, I would take that as pretty strong evidence that your vocab knowledge needs to be more robust. All right, somebody says, is group 1 more important than group 32? Like, is the word abound more likely to show up than the word fervid? What do you guys think? Is group 1 more important than group 2, which is more important than group 3? No. It's not like that at all. Yeah. So every one of these words is important. And yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and walk through my suggestions about how to do this properly. Let's imagine you're on day 4 and you're going through group 1. Mistake number 1 is people go like this. I know it. 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 That's mistake number 1. Because you're not really proving anything, right? You're not really proving anything at all. You're just marking it like this. Okay, so that's mistake number 1. So let's take a volunteer. What should we do instead? What should we do instead? Let's go to Luis. Hey, Luis, what's up?
I think that you should say the definition out loud.
Exactly. Yep, everyone. So what you have to do is you have to actually say the definition out loud. Okay? You actually have to prove that you know this word. You have to prove that you know this word. So let's now talk about mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is a lot of people will give the definition in a way that's not efficient. Let me show you what I mean. Abound, that's like when you have kind of like a lot of something. Amorphous, that's something that's what is it? Something that is a little bit unclear. Austere, that's like when you have a person who like lives in a room and you know, doesn't really have like a lot of furniture, kind of like no luxuries. Belie, that that would be like, for example, if you you know, say something and I go against it. So if you actually do it like that, you're never gonna finish this ever. I mean, it's just too time consuming. It's just too time consuming. So what you're looking for, everybody, is a 1 or 2 word definition. A 1 or 2 word definition. It doesn't have to be a GRE synonym. It just has to be a 1 or 2 word definition. So I'll just do like 10 words to kind of show you. I'll do group 2. Corrupt, support, increase power, eagerness, having mixed feelings, decrease a bad feeling, open to suggestion, outdated, bold, greedy, boring, harmless, shameless, slander, honest, reprimand, bitter, interpret, remorseful, complex, desire, cowardly, politeness, skilled, object, based on something else, dry out, angry rant, not believing something, naive. So as you can see, some of those I had maybe 3 or 4 words, but for the majority of them, it was just 1 or 2 words. And I was able to move through it very quickly. Okay, so that is the advice there. What else do I want to say? Another mistake a lot of people make is they don't use the correct part of speech. Any volunteers? What do I mean by that? You don't use the correct part of speech. Let's go to Rashida. Hey, Rashida.
Hi, how are you? So, adulterated.
You didn't even let me answer the question.
I'm sorry.
Hello, how are you? So, yes, I'm good. Yeah, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Okay. All right, yeah, so what do we mean by that?
So what you mean is that one word can mean one thing in a noun and another one can mean it in an adjective. So it depends on exactly maybe what the text is looking for. So I know when I was studying one word, I thought it was one way, but it was actually something else in the adjective form.
Exactly. Part of speech is verb, noun, adjective, everybody. And so if the word is a verb, your definition should be a verb. If the word is an adjective, your definition should be an adjective. If the word is a noun, your definition should be a noun. And Rashida is exactly correct. Sometimes the verb, noun, adjective can actually change the meaning, right? Can you think of an example, Rashida, where the verb, noun kind of changes the meaning?
Oh my gosh, what was the word I had? I think the word I had was conceptualized.
Conceptualize would be a verb because of the IZE at the end. One example would be the word deliberate. Okay, so I'm gonna type this in, everybody. So deliberate versus deliberate. Notice, everybody, the spelling is exactly the same. So if I use the adjective form of deliberate, I say that they did that, that action was deliberate. What does that mean, everybody? Or Rashida, what does that mean?
Yes, that means that they did it knowingly.
Yeah, on purpose, right?
Yeah.
But if I say we deliberated for hours,
that's something different.
I'm saying we're discussing, we're thinking about it, we're talking. So yeah, exactly correct. Thank you. So everybody, part of speech is important. So avoid this trap, okay? So for example, advocate is both a verb and a noun. So what does the verb mean, everybody? If I advocate for you, it means I support you. But if I am an advocate, it means I'm a supporter. Okay? Now come to the word ambivalent. Does this mean having mixed feelings or somebody who has mixed feelings? Which one is the correct definition? It means having mixed feelings. Ambivalent is not a person, everybody. You cannot say somebody who has mixed feelings because the definition of ambivalent is not a person. Same thing with avaricious. Can we say somebody who is greedy, or should we just say greedy? We should just say greedy. Don't say somebody who is greedy, just say greedy. That's it. Keep it simple. That's another way to move through this pretty quickly. Now, if you're having trouble with that, there's a little bit of a technique you can use. I'll show you the technique. I don't recommend it too much because it's kind of time consuming, but you would say if something is abated, it is decreased. If I abjure something, I renounce it. If something is anomalous, it is different. If I have antipathy, I have hatred. If something is arcane, it is hard to understand. If something is arduous, it is difficult. If a person is artless, they are either naive or unskilled. If somebody is an ascetic, they're like a monk. They deprive themselves of luxury. If I assuage something, I decrease it. I improve it. So notice you can do that. That can help you with the part of speech, but it is time consuming. It is time consuming. So make sure that you're not spending too much time on these words because you'll never finish. Okay, so that gets me to another big mistake of the Vocab Mountain. People don't do it. By the time they get to like day 18 or 20 or whatever, they're like, oh my God, groups 1 through 10, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And it becomes very tedious and just like very, like daunting. The only way to get good at vocab is to do it. Just like the only way to lose weight is to exercise and monitor your calories. The only way to improve your mood is to, get out and do things, take a shower, not read Reddit. Things are hard. Things are hard to do, but if you actually want results, you have to be disciplined. Remember, discipline is far more important than motivation. Motivation, you do something because you want to do it. Discipline, you do it even when you don't want to do it. Discipline is more important than motivation. Okay? Discipline is far more important than motivation. Now, does that mean I have everything figured out? Hell no. Not even close. I know it's true, but it's just as hard for me to do as it is as hard for you to do. So I totally get it. I totally get it, everybody. Okay? All right, now, you might be asking, okay, if I get later in the groups, like day 20, how on earth can I even finish this in a reasonable amount of time? Well, let me show you. Can I take a volunteer? Let's go to Rashida. You're the only one with your hand up. All right.
Thank you.
Do you have your phone in front of you? Can you open the stopwatch?
Okay, I don't. I normally keep my phone. I have it on my laptop. Hold on, let me see here.
Okay, sure. So just tell me go whenever you're ready to keep track of my time.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay.
So you keep your phone away from you. That's really smart.
I do because
that's discipline, everybody.
Okay, let me go get this. 1 second. I got it right here. Hold on. Stopwatch.
So yeah, that's discipline. Well,
I got it.
All right.
Okay.
You got it.
Stopwatch. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Stopwatch. Okay. That's clock. Yeah. Yep. Stopwatch. Got it. Ready?
Yep.
And go.
Distant, noisy, normal, disprove, small, noticeable, mysterious, distant, wasteful, inventive, not important, different, domineering, rude, or irrelevant, kind of going into an area and causing problems, wavering, not determined, praiseworthy, relaxed, push to the side, style, slow, boring, corrective, agitated or skittish, not occurring in a regular way, to mark with shame, to weaken, completely, tired, passionate. Okay, how much time did that take?
That's 43.15.
Yeah, so even if I took a minute, right? Even if I took a minute, I could complete all 32 groups in about half an hour. Thank you, Rashida. So even if you take a minute per group, you can complete the entire Vocab Mountain correctly in about 30 minutes. Of course, that doesn't mean you're learning any of the words. That's purely revision. So if you want to add on the learning of the new group or the last two groups you did, maybe it's more like an hour or something like that. But remember, an hour a day of vocab keeps the doctor. Oh no, wrong meme or wrong theme, everybody. An hour a day of vocab is going to really improve your verbal score. Because remember, the test is so vocab heavy right now. It's so vocab heavy. Okay? Keeps the low verbal score away. Nice. Another question is, should you learn synonyms? No. Remember, learning synonyms is not efficient. Think about it. If you click on, for example, a bait, you have to learn these 3 synonyms as well. So that means if you learn 30 words, you have to really learn 90 words, or an additional 90. No, it's not efficient. So the question is, how do we know when words are synonyms? Any volunteers? How do we know when words are synonyms? Let's go to Jay. Hey, Jay.
So synonyms you can basically find in sentence equivalence questions where you use the pairing strategy.
No, I mean on the Vocab Mountain. How do we know if 2 words are synonyms?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, like I can give an example. So we can say
give
the
an example,
word
sure.
capricious and enigmatic.
Those are actually not synonyms.
Are they distant synonyms?
No,
Because
I
even
wouldn't call those synonyms. Yeah.
Ephemeral and transient.
Say it one more time.
Ephemeral and transient.
Yep, ephemeral and
Transitory.
transient.
Yeah,
Yep,
they both
ephemeral and
have-
transient are synonyms. So how do we know they're synonyms?
Like once, each and both of them appear on different days. So when I read them, and since both of them have same meaning, so
Yeah.
after a point of time, you just get used to it.
Yeah, so everyone, when you say the definition of ephemeral, you're going to say the word temporary, right? Everyone agree? You're going to say the word temporary or short lasting. When you go to the word transient, you're going to say the word temporary or short lasting. If you do this enough, you start to internalize that these are synonyms. Take, for example, avaricious. If I had to give it one word definition, what word would I give it? I would give it greedy, right? And then we go to the word rapacious. If I had to give it one word definition, what would I give it? I would give it the word greedy. And then we go to a word like mercenary. If I had to give it one word definition, I would give it the word greedy. And then we go to a word acquisitive. If I had to give it a one word definition, I would use the word greedy. So just by using the word greedy, I know that all of these words are going to be synonyms. Yeah, so that's basically how it works, everybody. So the question is, why do we even list the synonyms? We list the synonyms more for exposure rather than memorization. We wrote that up here. You do not have to memorize the synonyms. They're just for reference and exposure. So the more you're exposed to it, you kind of like slowly internalize it, but you definitely don't have to sit there and memorize it. So everyone, that's the Vocab Mountain, and that's how you correctly use it. Let's recap, everybody. You want to spend about a minute going through each group that you're revising. You want to keep the definition short and to the point, typically 1 or 2 words. You don't need to say the synonyms. You want to maintain part of speech, maintain verb, noun, adjective. And then finally, I don't care how you learn the words. Remember, I don't care how you learn the words. So for example, if you're on group 4 here, learn them however you want. I'm much more interested in your retention of the words so you don't lose them like a week later or 2 weeks later, stuff like that. Now, we can combine this with other resources, okay, to make sure we're doing a good job. So if you're interested in combining this with other resources, take notes. All right, take notes. All right, here we go. First of all, these groups have these like YouTube tests. I think they're like from YouTube. They're like very old. These are things I made like 5 years ago, okay? We also have a lot of resources on the website. So if you click on Solve Problems and go to Various Quizzes, everyone see Various Quizzes here? If you click on So You Think You Know Words, let's say you're on day 3 of the Vocab Mountain, you can do these. All of these quizzes are going to cover groups 1 through 3. 4 through 6. You don't have to do all of them, of course. You don't have to do all of them. 7 through 9, 10 through 12, 13 through 15, 16 through 18, etc., all the way down. And these cover all the words. So these cover all the words. So we have like a ton of these. We in the past, we were doing these things like crazy. Ton of these. Okay. We also have these sentence equivalence quizzes. So let me go back. If you go to Solve Problems, we are on Solve Problems. Sentence equivalence quizzes with the pairs of shoes. So let's just show you an example of one of these. Let's imagine you have already gone through days 1 through 5 of the Vocab Mountain. You can take this sentence equivalence quiz, which tests your ability to pair up. So conspicuous goes with noticeable, anomalous with aberrant, imitation goes with emulation, deference with respect. Tiny goes with diminutive, slow and plodding, obscure and recondite, etc., etc. You guys get the idea. So you can use this to gauge your progress to see how you're doing. But perhaps the best way to gauge your progress is, let's take a volunteer. Has anyone gone through all of these groups, all 32? If you have, raise your hand. All right, let's go to Emmy. Hey, Emmy, how you doing?
No, I wasn't volunteering for this. I had a question.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, sure. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. I'm not trying to embarrass.
No,
So, what's your
but
question?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
What's your question?
No, I want. Okay, my question is, sometimes when I do the vocabulary mountain, I know the meaning, but then when I go to the fill in the blank questions, I put in my own word, and then I look at the options, and suddenly I'm over morphing the words, and even though I know the meaning, I'm choosing the wrong answer, and then it's like,
So that,
oh, I'm going back to the
that
fact.
gets us into strategy a little bit. So remember, to get a high verbal score, vocab knowledge is not enough, obviously. It involves really 3 things: vocab knowledge, strategy, and essentially time management, the ability to go through a group of questions. It sounds like you're struggling more from the strategy angle, or maybe
No. It's like
Oh, so you're saying it's the
see
vocab?
word.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because
So you're
I
saying
know
you
the
know
meaning of
you're
the
saying you
word.
know the words, right?
I know the word, but
All
then
right,
when
let's
I
prove it.
see
Let's do it. Are you ready?
okay.
Let's do it. All right. So this is the best way to test it, everybody. So let's imagine, for example, you're on day 15, for example. Just shuffle all the words and then just do one of the random groups. Okay, so how many groups have you gone through, Emmy?
Well, I have my test on Tuesday, so I know 90% of the words.
I mean, have you gone through all 32 groups?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't say I know them all.
I mean, but you did say you know the words, right? And somebody says you enjoy this, don't you? No, I don't enjoy this. Honestly, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. If you don't want to do this, you don't
I
have
know
to do it.
90% of the words. No,
All right.
no.
Do you
let's
want to do it or no? Do you want to do it?
Yeah. we do
Okay.
it.
Like I said, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. All right, let's do random group 3. Furtive.
Where is it? Oh, I don't know this one.
You know it or you don't know it?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Provincial is like rural, village sort of acumen. Intelligence, when you're sort of making fun of something. Oh, I know this one. When you're stupid?
Nope.
When it's same, uniform. Soft, like a lower, feeble voice.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Like a lower, soft,
Low or
feeble
soft?
voice.
Low or soft? Not exactly.
Scarce, rare. Oh, I know this. Not sure. Myopic is when you're close, narrow-minded. Not okay. Plans. I know it in a sentence. It's when you're hiding from something, when you're in a disguise. Indispensable. Oh, important. You eccentric.
Remember, try to keep it to just
Crazy.
1 or 2 words, because if you tell a sentence for every single word, it's too time consuming, right?
Right. Crazy. Vapid. Boring. Derivative. It's not original. Intangible. It's the opposite. What's the opposite?
What'd you say?
What's fungible? Tangible.
Fungible means interchangeable.
Oh, okay. Target needs to calm someone down. Rubbish. You like something. One cure all. A flare. You have a flare for something. Tractable. Moldable. You can manipulate it. I don't think I know that one. Small. You're very adept at something. Voluntary. Ooh. Formal. Are you being formal with something? I don't remember. Rich?
Not really.
When you're being a bit rude?
Rude, not really.
Oh, to cut off? When you're not open to other ideas?
Yeah. So you didn't do badly, but like I said, people tend to overestimate their vocab knowledge, and I think you probably fall into that camp. So you have to really make sure that your accuracy is a little bit tighter. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. Another mistake that you're probably making is you're just going through it a little bit too slowly. So try to mimic this behavior. Boring, lacking seriousness, sentimental, prevent, hate, difference, complex, angry, rant, expert. Try to do it more like that.
I think the problem is when I learn the meaning of the word, I kind of like do a little bit of storytelling when I do that. And because of that storytelling is probably why I'm getting it wrong in the text completion, because then
Yeah, you
I
need to be.
start
That's
using
what I'm
my-
saying. You need to be a little bit tighter. That's what I'm saying. Like your
But what can
definitions
I
need.
do in like 4 days?
Well, like I said, restrict. Well, in 4 days, maybe not much, but try your best. Just try your best. Don't panic. Just try your best.
Okay, can I ask another essay off topic? Please humor me.
If it's quick.
Yes. In the essay, sometimes they give a sentence and a reason. If I agree with the sentence and disagree with the reason, what should I do?
Go to the non-sequenced writing classes. So if you go to classes, recorded classes, go all the way down to these GRE writing classes right here. watch the video on the claim reason prompt right here.
Okay.
Yeah. And these are kind of annoying. So I put the tagline really annoying.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. And thank you for answering all my emails.
Oh, sure. No worries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Good luck on your test. And if you don't do well or as well as you expect, remember you can always retake it. It's not that big of a deal. All right, does anybody have any questions about the Vocab Mountain? Let's try to keep the questions specific to vocab, everybody. In the Vocab Mountain. Let's go to Magana. Hey, Magana, what's up?
Hey Greg, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so I just finished like going through all of the 32 groups, I think 3-4 days ago.
Sure.
And so I mean I've kind of grouped all of the synonyms together by myself.
Okay.
And but then I was kind of unsure about some of the synonyms. For example, you know, I kind of grouped zenith, apex, and acme and paragon, but I'm not sure if like they exactly mean the same in terms of like context. So I was wondering if you know, yeah, so I was wondering how to kind of like, you know, group them correctly.
The best thing, if you want to check it, is Google, because every time you Google a word, it'll give you a list of like 10 to 15 synonyms. As long as you see them there, that's going to be your
But
best
sometimes
bet.
I feel like a word has multiple meanings. For example, appropriate.
We don't want to do anything by feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, remember, you don't want to do anything on the jury by feeling, but okay, appropriate, that's like what Rashida and I were talking about, how the adjective appropriate means suitable. The verb appropriate means to like take something by force, right?
Yeah.
But it can also mean to disperse funds. So there are words that have multiple definitions. And of course, if we click on artless, for example, look at this one. It can mean naive, inexperienced, plain and simple, or lacking skill. I mean, some of the words are just kind of crazy, but most of the time, the good news is there's only one definition.
Okay, but also, for example, you know, the word castigate. I mean, the more like
you want to say I
obvious
feel, don't you? You want to say I feel. I feel.
Again,
I don't use anything by feeling. I just go to Google and type in castigate and see what synonyms are listed. That's how I do it.
Yeah, but in like I mean, according to the list, there are other words like censure, for example, which is used in a more formal way. So can I still group
that's
them
too much
together, for
nuance.
example?
You don't need that much nuance. Yeah, you can put them together.
So like so basically in the GR, I mean in the sentence equivalents, if those two words come together, I shouldn't
They are a
group
pair.
it.
No, they are a pair. Yeah. Yeah, remember the GRE is not going to like put 3 words together that have like really close meanings. They typically don't do that. They might occasionally do that if they really want to challenge somebody, but most of the time the pairs are quite obvious.
Okay, so mercurial and capricious, for example, would be the same also.
Like I said, I mean, just go to Google. That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, just go to Google and just look up capricious. If you see mercurial there, hey, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Greg.
Let's go to Basma. Hey, Basma, what's up?
Hi, Greg. Can you hear me?
I can. What's going on?
I have 2 quick questions. So first about it's more related to memorizing the words. So
Sure.
what if you have a word that shows up every day in the red, you know?
That's
So
okay if it's one word. I remember it took me so long to learn the damn word captious.
what does that mean?
Yeah, it means like fault finding. If somebody's a captious person, they're like fault finding. They're finding faults. That word took me so long to learn. If it's just one word, it's not that big of a deal. And eventually your brain is going to take it in eventually.
Okay, so my other question is, would you say that we can replace some of the revision like style of the mountain vocab with the quizzes that you think you know, kind of quizzes, or no? We have
If
to do
anything,
both.
I would prefer you do both, if anything. But if you're, remember, the revision via the Vocab Mountain is going to be a lot faster than taking a vocab quiz, right? So, for example, let's say you're going to take a vocab quiz on groups 1 through 3. that might take you 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But in revising then the Vocab Mountain style, it would only take 3 minutes, right?
Right, right.
So it kind of just depends on what your timing looks like. I wouldn't say you always want to do quizzes. Periodically do quizzes to make sure that you're actually retaining the words.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Couts. Hey, Couts, what's going on?
Hi, Greg. I'm going great.
Awesome.
So, actually, I have a question. So, right now I am around day 20
Okay.
in the Vocab Mountain. But like I am able to do a single group under a minute or around 1 minute 30 seconds, just like the way you were doing it.
Yeah.
But the problem is like whenever I do these 20 groups, it's very mentally exhausting.
I
Like
agree.
you have
Yeah,
to
it's very
think
tedious.
about the
Super tedious. So here's what you do. Just break it up. So in the morning, do 1 through 5. In the afternoon, do 6 through 10. In the evening before dinner, do 11 through 15, etc. There's no rule that you have to do it like 1 through 20 straight.
Okay, but can we skip it or divide it into 2 days? Would that be a good idea? Like for
The
the
answer
1
is
day
yes, but remember, every time you do that, you're decreasing quality. So it's no different than like take a high quality video, like a 4K video. Can you reduce the resolution to 2K? Sure, you can, but it's not going to be as good of a video. You can still watch it, but it's not as good. Can you reduce it to 1080p? Sure, but you've just lowered the quality even more. Can you reduce it to 480p? Sure, and now it's like barely watchable. So the point is, let's say you're on day 20 and you want to review 1 through 10 on one day and 11 through 20 on the next day. You can do that, but it's not going to be as good as 1 through 20 every day, right?
So, is there any thin line like after like 12 will be sufficient, kind of?
What do you mean?
Do 12 groups on the day 1 and rest on the day 2. Like what I mean to say is like it becomes very mentally I understand that you are saying that in the morning I can try from group 1 to 6 and in evening may
Try
try
that
from
first.
7
Try
to
that first.
okay.
Okay. Before you split it into like, half and half or thirds and thirds and thirds, try to break it up. Like in the morning, do 5 groups, or in the morning, do like 50%. In the evening, do 50%. Try that first and see if that helps before you split it into halves or anything.
Okay, okay, sure. And can you also test me on one group? It seems fun. I just want to test it one. If you have
I
time.
think a lot of
Okay.
people want to be tested. I'll test you on 10
Okay.
words. How about that?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So you said you're up to day 20. Is that what you said?
Day 19.
Day
Yeah,
19. Okay.
but yeah, okay.
Oops, I didn't mean to click on reset everything. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Shuffle everything. Okay. All right, just tell me bridal down to dilatory.
Okay, bridal basically kind of
Nah,
catering.
way too long. Way too long. Remember, just 1 or 2 words.
Tremel,
Sorry?
like restricting someone.
Okay, restrict. Mhm.
Wayward is puerile, childish, and not know what they are going to do. Perpetuate
Is it
is
childish?
perennial, like
Obstinate, contrary, and unpredictable? I wouldn't say childish.
okay. Perpetuate is kind of perennial, like continuously happening
Again,
indefinitely.
way too long. Yeah, so you're not really taking my advice. Remember my advice? 1 or 2 words. Yeah, so
Okay,
remember, it has to be
not
like this. It has to be like this. It has to be restrict, right? Unpredictable, continue,
unpredictable,
supporter,
continuous,
greedy, greedy,
greedy,
reckless, windy, lacking or slow, sorry,
delay.
urbane. So that is how you want to do it. If you have to say, no wonder you're tired because every time you say like 20 words. Bridal, that basically means like if you have to restrict something. So of course that's going to make you tired. So you really want to try to get it
Okay,
to like
okay.
1 or 2 words. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay, okay.
Was that a shit?
Yes. I now I am actually seeing why
Yeah.
it was exhausting. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I was kind of agreeing with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I agree. But remember, if it was easy, everybody would do it, and everybody would have a high score. So again, let's really internalize this. If soccer was easy, we would all be Messi, right? But it's not. And so that's just how it works. I mean, there is some tedium that we just have to go through, right? Let's go to Gabenga. Hey, Gabenga. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I apologize. What's up?
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
Good afternoon from
Afternoon.
Nigeria. My name is Benga.
Are you in Lagos?
Benga. Yeah, Lagos.
Nice.
Yeah. So I really want to appreciate everything you're doing here for you. You really helped me a lot.
Thanks. I
So
appreciate
concerning
that.
this Vocab Mountain, yeah. So concerning this Vocab Mountain, I would say the method I was using was the first time I've actually gone over it to like day 27 the first time. And I think that really helped. What it helped in the sense that I was able to familiarize myself with the words first, even though I really don't know the deep meanings. There are some vocabularies I'm not really familiar with the meanings, but then I know those words. But the second time I'm going over now, I think up to like day 6 now, I'm very familiar with those meanings.
I mean, that's
I
the
could
purpose
do it
of
the
it. I
second
mean, that's
time,
the
like
purpose.
this.
If you look at group 1
Yes.
6 days in a row, eventually you're just like, your brain's just like, okay, I give up. I will memorize it.
Yeah, so the second time now, it's helping me to memorize it. And I don't know, maybe the strategy could help someone here too.
Yeah.
Another thing I actually want to say is this is actually beyond the scope of this class though, but still within the tutorial, the class we are actually doing. So my concern is actually the text completion and sentence equivalence. There are sometimes when you give us questions, I will be flowing with you. I get some of them, and there are some questions you actually pop up and I miss it. To me, I actually feel probably I was getting it when you bring up some questions. I feel like yes, I'm almost there. But then there are sometimes that you bring up some questions and it's actually punctures into my confidence. I'd be like, oh, again, I still miss this thing. It's like I'm not getting it.
The
So I wanted
mistake,
to ask,
the mistake
is
you're
there
making,
like is
the
there
mistake,
like
the mistake you're making is you're focusing on whether you get right or wrong. Remember, who cares? We don't care about that. It's irrelevant. Because you will get some questions right through your bad habits. And you will get some questions wrong even if you do everything correctly. Remember, we care much more about process, much more about your ability to, like, I would say, is this a support or a contrast? And I'd say, how do you know? And then I would say, okay, do I look left or do I look right? And you say you look left, etc. If you can answer all of those questions correctly, that's going to be much more important than whether you got the question right or wrong. The reason why your confidence is being hurt is because you're only focusing on the end result rather than the skills. Remember, Messi did not become Messi by just focusing on whether he won or lost football games. Messi became Messi because on every day he didn't have a football game, what was he working on? His skills,
all right,
right?
thank you, Greg.
He's working on his skills. So, and he got so good at his skills that winning games just happened automatically. If you get really good at vocab and you get really good at the text completion skills, the questions, they answer themselves. It just happens automatically. So focus on the vocab, focus on the skills. Don't focus on whether you get it right or wrong. Cool.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Let's go to Natik. What's up, Natik?
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So my question is, sometimes you are like going about the words with the shuffling and sometimes without. So what is your recommendation regarding revising? Should we shuffle them or should we go about the order you have set?
I would occasionally shuffle. So I wouldn't always shuffle. So like, let's say, for example, you're getting up to like day 10 and you just want to test how good your knowledge is randomly. And then, you can do a shuffle. And then you can try another shuffle when you get to like day 15. I don't think, remember, because you don't want to spend so much time here that you're not focusing on strategies as well. So I would just occasionally shuffle.
Okay. And if we don't know a word, should we just read it and come back again? Or
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Just mark it red, click on D, and, eventually your brain will admit defeat and, allow it to go into your brain.
okay, thanks.
Let's do maybe one more question. We'll do two. We'll do Harsh and we'll do Jewel. Hey, Harsh, what's up?
Hello, Greg. I'm good. I'm good.
Nice.
Yeah. So, my question is, what about the prefix and suffixes? Like,
It's
are they
garbage.
helpful?
Nah, not helpful. Not helpful. In
Okay.
my opinion, not helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
There's too many exceptions. Like for example, the prefix a means no, right? It means like, for
Hmm.
example, atypical means not typical. And you go, oh, aloof. Does that mean not loof? You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
don't.
Yeah. So the prefixes are just not there. I just don't think they're that helpful, to be honest.
Okay. But actually, I gave some mock test before, and today only I have joined your program. So, on the mock test, when I was attempting them, so there were questions where there were always words that I have not seen.
What
And at
source?
that
What
time,
mock test?
like I have given one ETS one and two Princeton.
Okay, ignore the Princeton Review ones, and the ETS words are all on this list. So, like I said, if you do
Yeah.
the Vocab Mountain correctly, vocab on ETS stuff will not be much of a problem.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Remember, we don't want to do any Princeton Review, especially for verbal. Yeah, definitely not. Let's go to Jewel. All right, Jewel, you're gonna finish the class today. What's going on?
Hey Greg, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. Basically, Basically, I finished all of the groups. More than that, I do not count it. Basically, I always face some words which I always forgot it. What should I do?
I would just say ignore it. Remember, we're not asking for perfection. We're asking for about 90% coverage. So let's say, for example, you go to day 32 and then you shuffle everything and you go, okay, so iconoclastic, it's like challenging conventions, and then you go interchangeable, lacking emotion, support, interpret, I forgot, overly detailed, appease, cautious, increase power, I forgot. As long as you just have like 2 or 3 of those I forgots, it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay. I always exam that YouTube videos. I good at all that, but when I exam at that sentence equivalence, I do poorly on that. What should I do?
Well, if you're doing poorly on the sentence equivalence quizzes, that indicates your vocab knowledge is not as strong as you think it is.
Means I got 17 to 20.
Yeah, that probably means your vocab knowledge is not as strong as you think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, you really have to be strict with yourselves, everybody. Try not to fall into the trap of saying like, oh, I know the word, I know the word, I know the word, I know the word. Try not to fall into that trap. Has anyone ever done that? They go, okay, I know what approbation means. I just can't explain it. Has anyone ever said that? Okay, so let's actually analyze this. I know what approbation means, but I can't explain it. So do you really know what it means? You know what I mean? If you can't explain it, do you really know what it means? So I think what you're really trying to say is I recognize the word, but I don't really know the definition. So remember, you have to kind of be honest with yourself, what you know and what you don't know. That's why it's so important to verbalize the definition. Yeah, and you cannot use the same word. Exactly. You cannot say cherish means to cherish. So sometimes I'll quiz people on vocab and I'll say, what's the meaning of cherish? And they go, it's cherish. Yeah, clearly. And I go, okay. Cherish means cherish. Yep, that is correct. So remember, really force yourself to give a 1 or 2 word definition. And if you don't, just mark it red. All right, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys got some clarity about how to use the Vocab Mountain. Where do we practice AWA in all caps? I think Pawnee's yelling at me here. Where do we practice AWA? So remember, all of the issue prompts are public. So ETS has released all of them. So once you get the template down, you can just randomly choose the AWA. You can just randomly choose it. There is stool on your website. Do you know what stool means? Stool means poop. So somebody said, there is stool on your website. I think they were trying to say there is a tool. Yeah. No, there is probably some stool on the website somewhere. Definitely. The quality is not uniform. The tool for practicing the AWA, I think, is here. I think you can find it there. All right, everyone. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you guys later.